like I told you fellas, people with these big black platforms, they refuse to acknowledge these situations. This is another situation that I waited and waited and waited to see what anybody talk about. This was a 10-year-old girl, Utah, autistic student, dies by suicide weeks after sketching DOJ reports on the school district. Now, as you all know, this was a situation where there was a little black girl was being harassed and bullied by white kids. They was calling her niggas and saying she stank, and I mean, she was being bullied to the point as to where it affected her so much psychologically. This little young 10-year-old girl committed suicide, and this breaks my heart. And what breaks my heart the most is when you get these women. Yes, I'm back at it again, and I ain't stopping. These women, these Cynthia G's and these divestors, get on YouTube, and all they want to talk about is the black man. Talk about we gonna choose better and we going to Brad's and this and that, and they refuse to talk about these type of situations. You will get on your YouTube platform looking like the very man who took part in procreating you. Hate the same man who took part in procreating you and say all black men ain't shit. Put the non-people of color above us, but you choose to ignore stories about this little black girl who was going to school with non-people of color, and she was harassed so much to the point as to where she committed suicide. Now, a lot of y'all out there got what we call chronic crocatosis. So you don't want to hear it from me. I'm going to let you hear it from them.
With autism died by suicide. The school district in Utah is under intense scrutiny after a 10-year-old girl with autism died by suicide last week. Isabella Izzy Tishner was allegedly being bullied by classmates, and her family says their complaints were repeatedly ignored.
The tragedy comes on the heels of a Justice Department investigation into the Davis School District, which found that serious and widespread racial harassment had previously taken place there. Izzy's parents are now demanding a response from the school district. CNN correspondent Polo Sandoval joining us now with more. What more can you tell us, Polo?
What we know is that the Department of Justice probe found a disturbing pattern of harassment against Black and Asian students at the Davis School District, which is just north of Salt Lake City, and that school officials deliberately ignored various complaints from parents and from students for years. Now, that investigation actually came to a close, as you noted, just weeks before Izzy Tishner took her own life. Her family now demanding answers from the school as they prepare to lay their little girl to rest later today. They say that the first time that they heard about this harassment against Izzy was last month, when she was being teased and even being called the N-word at school. Well, according to a family attorney, Izzy's mother and stepfather took that bullying complaint to a...
God bless her soul. This little girl was being teased by students who was people of non-people of color. This little girl was being harassed, bullied. She was being called a nigger, even though we know that's not what she is. This is what this little girl went through. But yet still, you people with these big platforms, you got 100-some thousand subscribers or better. You will ignore this. You will not talk about this. You will say that all black men are trash bags and say that all Brads are good people. When look at what Brad and his seeds are doing to a little girl who looked just like you, Cynthia G.
Teacher. They felt that they weren't making any progress there, so they went to the principal. Well, the principal then turned them to the vice principal, where the family says that they felt very unheard and disregarded, according to them. Now, CNN did reach out to the Board of Education at the Davis School District and the Foxborough Elementary School to corroborate this version that was coming from the family. And at this point, the school district declining to comment, citing privacy reasons. But they did release a press release that was sent to local media just yesterday. In it, they pledged an independent investigation to look further into this claim. But at the same time, when you hear from the Department of Justice, they're saying that they are deeply saddened by Izzy's death and that their Civil Rights Division is certainly committed to the implementation of that October 21st settlement agreement that was reached between them and the Davis School District. And we should remind viewers, this is an investigation that started back in July of 2019. And when you read that report that we initially reported on in late October, school officials there found that the school district, as we mentioned a little while ago, was ignoring various complaints from parents and teachers repeatedly. And at one point, according to federal investigators with the DOJ, even recommending that Asian and Black students at the school district, quote, not be so sensitive. At the time, school officials said they certainly have a lot of work to do, but that was before this case, before Izzy took her life, and before we're reminded of the devastating impacts of bullying at school.
Now, y'all won't talk about that, but y'all will get on this damn YouTube and talk about everything else and say the black man ain't this, the black man ain't that. This little black girl was being bullied and harassed